how would I even know I'm in labor? I'm telling you, when you're in labor, you know that this one, I knew it was not helping me, but I was already I was already in cloud 10. Hello, Miss. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Christiana Show Me Enyere. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the likes, for the shares. I love you guys so much. I feel like every video I make until my baby is like a little independent, I would have to apologize for not showing up as consistently or as constantly as I should. And that's because it's a nightmare trying to film without having my baby interrupt. Like, my baby now wakes up like every now and then. He stays awake for longer, so I'm kind of like struggling. I've been struggling anyways, but I mean, I know it will get better. Also, they say, so my baby is going to be 6 months in a few days, and sorry, in a few weeks. I'm so excited. It's been 6 months of being a mom, and I believe that I've been doing an amazing job. But that's behind, besides the case, rather. So I just thought I've not shared my positive birth story, and I decided, why not? It's time. I mean, in the early weeks when I had him, I was a little traumatized, so it was difficult to bring myself to talk about what it was that I went through. But now that say like 90% healed, I feel like I can now share without feeling bad or without being anxious or feeling nervous. Yeah. So my labor experience was very positive. Like, it was okay, and everything just changed after I delivered my baby. Well, I thank God because it wasn't complicated. So, or maybe it wasn't as complicated, but it was positive, and I thought to share to encourage anyone. First off, getting pregnant with my baby was a miracle. I don't know if I've shared on this channel, but if I have, I'll put the link up above of how we knew I was pregnant and all of that. But I still want to sit down and share the testimony of how I knew I was pregnant, or how I got pregnant with my baby. So it wasn't planned, and when it happened, I knew that it had happened, and I wasn't sick, like vomiting and all of that. I didn't run fever all through the pregnancy period, but I had other severe symptoms, that I had to manage right up until even now. I still have some of the symptoms. Yeah. So basically, on 27th of November 2024, which was the day my dad was supposed to board his flight, to travel to the UK for my graduation. Backstory: my baby was due in on 3rd of December, yeah, and everybody wanted me to have a November baby, but I'm like, guys, you people in November are too much in my family. I want a December baby. At least let me shift my own celebration forward. And on 27th of November, I had gone to do the last minute shopping for things that my daddy might need when it comes to our place, because it was coming for my graduation on the 3rd of December, which was my due date. So I had prospected that as a first time baby, at 40 weeks, if I do not fall into labor, I was going to be induced and I'll just have my baby. So I'm like, if I go to the graduation and I don't fall in labor till I get back, from that night I'll go to the hospital to get induced, and that was it. So I had gone to do some last minute shopping for my dad, and I spent a lot of time in the city center that day. Like, I was walking all around, checking the shops, window shopping and all of that. And I got home, everything was fine. So that was a call coming in. I don't know if it's going to record, but I guess I'll just continue anyways. So I got home and everything was fine. I had my friend around. Our graduation was the next day, which was 28th. And we were all there. I helped her make her nails in the night. I did everything. And everyone went into their respective rooms. And my dad texted me at 10:30, which was 11:30 Nigerian time, that he had boarded the flights and they were about to move. I'm like, oh, save Johnny, Johnny Mercies. and all of that. Okay, no, he had chatted me before, prior to 11:30, which was 10:30 our time. He had chatted me like around to 11 when they had boarded, or past 11 when he was on the flight. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see you, this is that, and all of that. And 10:30 on the dot, when the plane was supposed to take off at 11:30 in Nigeria, I felt a very piercing pain, and I'm like, what's going on? I didn't want to shout because my husband was sleeping already and he was going to work the next day very early. And then the pain came again, and I'm like, babe, I think I'm in labor. My husband was like, you're in labor, Sam. I beg. He just turned his back and he slept. So I felt the urge to wee, and I stood up to wee, and there was a mucus discharge, and I snapped it. I sent it to my sister. I'm like, I just saw this mucus discharge, I think I'm in labor. And my sister was at work, I would believe, so she saw the message in time and she messaged me that, what's up? So I went back to bed. This was 10:30. Yeah, and I went back to bed, and that was it. As I went back to bed, the pain started again. This time I couldn't hold it. I shouted, like, my husband was like, what is it? I think I'm in labor. And that was how my contractions started. So I will have the contractions. I know he timed it. The contractions would last up to like 2 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, I was having like almost 4-5 contractions. And it didn't stop. And I was like, it seems you're in labor. I'm like, call the emergency line. So we called the hospital and like, oh, I'm in labor. And they asked me what were the things that I had seen. And I was like, okay, this. I just saw the mucus plug. And they said, okay, just hold on. And that was fine. But the contractions were not stopping. I was in severe pain. And all I could say was, Jesu Bami. In English means Jesus saves me. And that was what I was just saying. Jesu Bami, Jesu Bami, Jesu Bami. And the contraction will come up like, Jesu Bami. Oh, my will say, oh, you are shouting. I'm like, okay, let me just take it slow. So I think at past 1, I wanted to wee, and I saw the blood stained, like the shoe, that's what they call it. Like it literally dropped when I went to wee. And I'm like, oh my God, the shoe has dropped. I told my husband, oh, this has happened. My husband was like, okay, let's just time the contractions again. And then we called the hospital again to update them that, oh, the shoe had happened. And they were like, okay, I said I was in pain if I had paracetamol. And I searched my whole house. I usually have paracetamol. I searched my whole house. There was no single tablet of paracetamol. I'm like, oh my God. And the pain was so severe, and I was just saying, Jesu Bami, Jesu Bami, Jesu Bami, Jesu Bami. And I was praying, I was just there. And like around past 3, I just felt water. When they say, yeah, your water burst, when we were doing antenatal class, I used to feel like, how would I even know I'm in labor? I'm telling you, when you're in labor, you know that this one is labor. That pain, it did not have senior. It did not have, like, I've had toothache before, and I've been through labor pain. I can tell you that even toothache correlates beside labor pain. And, I told my husband, oh, my water has, he couldn't sleep anymore anyways. My water has burst. And he was like, oh, there's no water. I said, come and check. He checked. He was like, there's no water. I said, my water has burst. I know what I felt. And then he was like, okay, just hold on. As I just turned my side like this, another water I said, Jesus, this one, you must feel it. The whole bed was filled with water. I was like, okay. I said, now that the water has burst, we have to call the hospital, because they said they have to time from the time the water has burst before I have my baby, because normally they don't allow the baby more than 24 hours inside the womb after the water has burst for survival. So we called them and told them, oh, my water has burst. And they were like, okay, I should just pack my bags and start coming to the hospital. And then my husband was packing the bags. You guys, pack your bags early. I don't even know, maybe I should do another video on the lessons I learned. My sister will call me, 36 weeks, have you packed your bags? I have not packed it, I'm still buying some things. I was so certain that my baby was coming in December. I was so certain that my baby was coming in December. I don't know who gave me the liver to eat though, because I literally finished packing my bags on maybe on Monday or on Tuesday, and then I fell in labor on Wednesday. Like, that was a close shot, very, very close shot. And my husband just packed my bags, and he wanted to get ready. So the clothes I was supposed to wear to the labor room, I just bought it on that Wednesday that I went to the store, and I've not even washed it. I'm like, oh babe, the clothes I want to wear is in the laundry, but Bob was like, you have to leave it and wear something else. I'm like, oh my god, no steeze and composure. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm talking about it now and I'm laughing. My clothes was literally in the laundry bag. I couldn't wear it. I had to just wear one Ankara. I would attach a video of myself in labor on this video, and my husband just packed the bags, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? I'm like, oh, the weather is a little cold. I don't want to wear something too loose. I don't want to wear trousers. I just want a gown. So I picked one Ankara gown and I wore it. And my husband, my darling husband, came to me, babe, I'm done, let's go. As I stood up from the bed, I just threw up on all his body, like from head to toe. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Before I said another thing, I was like, ah. At the entrance of the bedroom like this, I just vomited another one. Wow. I said, Jesus. As I said, I was into the toilet, I just, 3 times vomit. I said, oh goodness, I feel better. Okay. All the vomit I did not vomit when I was pregnant, I'm like, oh, I feel better. So I went to wear the clothes. Now, my contractions were like every 2 minutes. Like, it wasn't even like I had no break every 2 minutes. I'm like, what's going on? So my husband was like, hey, ew. He would go and, oh, I didn't turn off the bedroom lights. There might be noise in my background. My husband was like, he would fall first because if he gets into the hospital, he won't be able to drive out again. If not, he would have to pay for parking twice. So he took me to the first station and filled his car. The first station was not far from the hospital, and the hospital was about 6 minutes away from us, like drive. So I was like literally, just got me, just hey, just got me, oh. And I got to the hospital, so he dropped me at the entrance of the maternity clinic and he went to park. So I didn't even carry anything, it was just me, myself that was going. So when I entered, I wanted to use the stairs because in Nigeria, they'll say when women are in labor, they will advise them to use the staircase. So there was a midwife and she was like, oh, why do I want to use the stairs? That I should come and use the lift. As she pressed the lift open like this, another contraction came. She had to hold down the lift for me to go through that contraction. And she was like, it's okay, I should take my time. Oh my God. Like, the nurses were so kind. I don't understand why they're always angry in Nigeria. Is it because they don't pay their salary very well? Because the nurses were so kind. And I just, when we used the lift and we got upstairs, so in less than another minute, I had another contraction. So she called them to open the door for me and told them that this is my second contraction in about a minute or in 2 minutes. And they're like, oh, okay, they just gave me a bed. And I was there. So I asked for pain relief and they gave me pain relief. But that pain relief, it did not relieve anything. It did not relieve anything because I was literally losing my mind. Not losing my mind, but yeah. It was so painful. And at that time, my husband had come. He was in the room with me. And then the midwife that was on the shift that morning, a white midwife, came, checked. No, she didn't check me. So after the pain relief, she went. And then they checked me like around past 4, past 5. At that time, they said I was 3 centimeters. So they couldn't return me back home. So I was there in the hospital. And then after our shift ended, she came to tell me that, oh, our shift was ending and another midwife was going to take over, which was a Ghanaian midwife. And the midwife took over. And yeah, that was it. So I told them that the pain relief I took was not enough, so I wanted gas and air. In this place, you are able to make decisions for yourself. And thanks to my sister, the midwife, she was able to put me through some things that I think that was my husband. She was able to put me through some things that was necessary. So I asked for gas and air. And when I asked for the gas and air, they arranged for it and they gave me, and I was able to use the gas and air up until the time when
And you got drunk on the gas.
I wasn't drunk. Get out. I got high on the gas and but I used the gas and up until the point where I was going to actually deliver my baby. And the gas and helped me, cope with the pain. That's what I would say. Because it was severe. And I was still throwing up. And my sister told me I had to wee every hour. So I was even pressed to wee every hour. So if I went to the bathroom and the contractions held me in the toilet, it was worse. So I was always torn between, should I go and wee before the next contraction? And the contractions were not stopping. So it was like a nightmare. And you are going to disturb my video with all those noise. So my contractions were not stopping, and I had to wee every time. So it was, and at 9 o'clock, I think, the midwife that not taking over came to check me, and she said I was on 8 centimeter. My dear people, I burst in tears. I was like, I'm like, me, 8 centimeter. How did I get there? Like, are you serious? In less than how many hours?
She cried a lot. She cried.
In less than how many hours? Like, I was already on 8 centimeters, and I'm like, you know what? If I did it up to this level, I'm definitely taking it to the end. And I was just there thanking God, because I knew that it's not me that carried it to that level. Everybody were already concerned for me because I had low threshold for pain, and even me myself, I just had faith that through Christ who strengthens me, I could do all things. I didn't know that I could do it. That's the sincere truth. And I was there. Goodness, 8 centimeters. I'm like, just 2 centimeters, we gotta go. But that was when I started feeling the urge to push. And the midwife was like, oh, I can't push because I'm still 8 centimeters. And if I push, it could be. So I had to listen. Because my sister had always said, listen to whatever your midwife says. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And then she came back around, I think 11 or 12. And I was still not on 10 centimeters. I think that time I was already on 9 centimeters. And she was like, oh, the way I'm laying on the bed is not helping me. And I knew it because I had watched videos. I had talked to people. I knew it was not helping me. But I was already I was already in cloud 10. Nothing that anybody said was even making sense to me, because why do you want me to stand up? Do you want me to roll over? So she asked me if I needed a bet ball, and I said, okay, that will be fine. And then she got me the bet ball, and I asked my husband to help me on the bet ball. Believe me, I was so drowsy that I sat on the bet ball and I almost rolled over. If not that my husband was behind me. And my husband helped me to stabilize, and I was on the bet ball. And I think around past 12, she checked me and she said I was already on 10 centimeters. And all of a sudden, all the urge to push just disappeared. My contractions were no more as frequent. They were not even strong. I say, I cannot push again. This thing is not doing me like I should push again. She was like, okay, that I should just, the next contraction I should push. And that's when the midwife left me. And then I was eventually able to push. I think at the 3rd push or 4th push was when my baby came in, because the first one, the baby head came and ran back. The baby head came and ran back, and they're like, oh, I need to just push. I just hold. I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying. Can somebody get me my mommy? And then I pushed, and my baby was out. And then my baby did not cry. I was like, baby, he's not crying. He's not crying. My baby, hold on, he's going to cry. I said, no, he has to cry right away. And my baby was just doing big boy. He didn't cry. He eventually cried, and when he cried, I was so happy. And then they injected me to deliver the placenta. She asked me if I wanted. I'm like, please, just put the injection, let the thing drop. But the placenta was big. Jesus. I'm like, is this what I've been carrying? God is great though. Imagine that big thing coming out from my bum. I'm like, hey, Jesus. And then the midwife was looking, and she was like, oh, she has to examine to see if I had tears. And I'm like, tears? Although I felt a very body sensation anyway. So, and she checked, and I looked at my husband, and my husband was like, wanting to talk. And she was like, oh, that I should not talk, that if he talks that I'm bleeding, that. But the look on my husband's face just sold him out, because I just felt like, oh, there's a problem. and there was actually a problem. So I had sustained a 4th-degree tear, and I was bleeding. So she had to call her senior to examine, or her superior to examine the tears to determine how large it was, and then they said it was 4th-degree tears. So I knew that everything had already cut. Like, there's no apparently my baby had his hand behind his head or by his cheek or whatever, so he came out and just scattered everywhere. And they called the consultant to come, and then the consultant wanted to put her hand again. I told them, no, please, nobody's putting her into my pom pom again. Just take me to the theater and do whatever you want to do. Like, I have tears, that's fine. Just take me to the theater. And they told my husband, oh, do you want to stay with the baby, or do you want... My husband said, I'm going with my wife. In fact, all of us, we are going together. I mean, if my husband had to choose, I know he would choose me over his child, but thank God he didn't have to choose. So he followed me into the theater, and he was there. So I had my baby like around past 1, and I was in the theater till around past 4. And that was when I was moved to the recovery ward. Then from the recovery ward, I was moved to the maternity ward. And they had to pass a catheter through me because I couldn't wee. And the catheter was there for about 24 hours or more because I couldn't stand, I couldn't wee, I needed support to do everything. And I didn't know the tears was very bad until the effect of the epidural went off. So another thing is I didn't even take epidural while I was in labor, but I had to take it for the surgery, whatever they did in the theater. And that was when I knew that something was wrong. I couldn't sit, I couldn't move my bum, I couldn't wee properly, I couldn't use the toilet properly. And then that was the beginning. I mean, I had severe pain up until my baby was up to 3 months. So I had a positive labor story, but post-labor was, it was too hectic. And I had to tell my husband that if I had a child before now, I wouldn't go through labor again. I wouldn't go through this again. Like, it was really severe that if I was breastfeeding my baby, I couldn't adjust my position. I had to just take one position. I needed support, and there were people around me. AY was there, my husband, my dad, my friends, everybody. Ife, I cannot even car, like, everybody were literally just all over me. Are you good? Have you eaten? Would you do this? Would you do that? They were there to support me, but nobody could help me with the pain. And the pain was severe. Believe me when I tell you, the pain was severe. But now, and that was why I couldn't film my labor story. That's why I couldn't film it right up until now. But now I feel like I'm in a better place. I still have physiotherapy appointments because, controlling my stool, controlling my fat was like a big deal. But I healed even faster than they expected. And now I can do everything seamlessly, but I still have pain down there occasionally. And my baby's a big boy now, so I mean, it's worth it. Would I go again? I'll come and answer that question again maybe at the end of the year. For now, we move. So if you've stayed up to this point, I know it's a very long video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.